Hello and welcome back to another episode of Deep Dive with Prisca, a TSAM Inspirational TV. And I'm always your host, Prisca Iwendi. And on today's episode of Deep Dive with Prisca, we are going to talk about a very important topic that has gotten in the hearts of people in society, especially Nigerians, as this issue has affected them. And this issue has to be the rise of Ponzi scheme in Nigeria. I know this is a topic that you've been waiting for. I know this is a topic that you need to inspire you against this particular business that actually cost more harm than good in society. Now, what do we think of Ponzi scheme as? First of all, Ponzi scheme is a fraudulent investment which is designed to promise you a return or a profit after investing with little or no risk, which is what they tell you, right? They tell you it has no risk. But realize that this investment that is claimed to be legitimate is a business that has thrived on hope, on desperation, on poverty and trust. Now, why do I say desperation? The reason why this Ponzi scheme exists is because we have people who are looking for quick money. We have people who are hungry. We have people who are desperate to make it big. Now, realize that when they find out there are people like us in society that want to make it big, that want to make as much money as we want, that are hungry, which you don't blame them why they are hungry. They thrive on it. So when they thrive on it, they engage in such businesses that will loop you of the small money that you have in your bank account, and they will use everything and run. Now, let's tell you how this Ponzi scheme works, because it seems a lot of people do not know how this Ponzi scheme works. Now, this Ponzi scheme works by you disbursing amount of money required for that particular business, and you are being promised to get a particular return in few days, which is why most of us we get such Ponzi scheme messages as if you invest 5,000 naira you get 10,000 naira in 24 hours. If you invest 50,000 naira you get 500,000 in 4 days. How the hell is such a thing possible to get a return at that type of level? Now, realize that legitimate businesses cannot give you such insurance or give you such assurance that you will get this type of profit. Rather, what they do is that they break down the steps at which you get your returns from this investment. Now, this Ponzi scheme do not do that for you. They don't tell you how you make those investments. Now, think about it deeply. How would you invest an amount of money and get a return in 24 hours? Have you ever wondered to sit down to think, how do they break through those investment processes? How do they actually even utilize the money to give you the returns that you are asking for? Then when you think about it, then just know that it's a scam. Ponzi scheme is not just a scam. Like I earlier said, they are thriving on what is existing in society. Now, because you are desperate for money, that is why the Ponzi schemes are existing. Because you are hopeless, that is why Ponzi scheme is existing. Because you are hungry, which is not your fault, but that is why it's still existing. But that does not mean that ignorance should be foolishness. So this is why we are bringing up this topic, for us to sensitize you on the patterns of knowing what the Ponzi scheme is all about. Now, let's go back to history a little bit. Ponzi scheme was actually, reintroduced by someone named Charles Ponzi. Now, the reason why the name was Ponzi scheme was coined from his name was because he was known in the 1920s, known for such things such as Ponzi scheme. But then we didn't know that it was called Ponzi scheme. At that time of the year, it was just people creating businesses as a form of embezzling and exploiting people, right? So from there, they started to call it Ponzi scheme because he had millions of Ponzi scheme businesses that had thrived over that year, and people had fallen victim for that. Now, let's tell you how this Ponzi scheme works, because some people are asking, how do Ponzi scheme work? How do they make the money they do? Do people actually get paid? Those people that come online to tell you, I just got paid in less than 5 minutes after investing in business, I have just gotten this. Now, let's be very realistic. People actually get paid, right? Now, the people that get paid are what we call the new investors. Now, these are the people who are the first set of people to actually engage in this business. So they use those people to come off as a camouflage to deceive you and make you feel like it's actually paying, because they actually pay them. So because they're the first timers. Now, after the new investors, now realize that also the new investors that are going to log into this business, they pay you off your portion of the money you invested, not like they're adding anything extra. It's just your money that you invested, that just giving you a portion of it. But this is what we call mathematical calculation. But some of us are too naive, and most times we are just so excited to get the big amount of money that we're going to get that we don't sit down to think about it, but realize that they're just using our senses, because they have mathematically done this, and it actually is your money that are using to pay you back. Now let's go to the next step. After the new investors, what then happens? The new investors will now begin to announce that, oh, there is a program, there's a business like this that is going on and it's paying them, right? Then the second investors are people who actually get convinced and they'll come under them. Now also, the second investors will also get paid, but they won't get paid as much as the new investors. It's just to, encourage more people to keep coming. That's what will happen to the second investors. And within the second investors, half will be paid, half will not be paid, which is why you begin to hear, I was paid. Someone else will say, I was not paid. And things go on like that. Now, we've come to the third investors. Now, the third investors are the ones, these are people that really fall a victim for this. Now, this is when this business has finally gone viral. When the new investors have cashed out, the second investors have cashed out, and some have not cashed out. And then the third investors now are not the ones that are now exposed to this information. That is when it goes so much on Instagram, on TikTok, and particularly this TikTok app is where a lot of these Ponzi schemes track, because they know that the audience on TikTok are people who are looking for money. I'm not we're not trying to shade TikTok, but this is the reality of what is happening, because people mostly use platforms where they will get larger audiences, and TikTok is one of those platforms that they get larger audiences. You see TikTok, Facebook, that have millions of people on that platform. This is where those particular businesses thrive, right? Now when they begin to get more viral, get more popular, that this also business is what is existing, a lot of people get intrigued. You see millions of people clicking the link to join. Now when millions of people are done clicking the link, this is now where you know that a problem has started. First, difficulty in withdrawal. Once you start investing in something and it becomes very difficult for you to withdraw, know that that's a Ponzi scheme. There is no proper investment that will have difficulties in withdrawal. For example, when you buy shares with the bank, you don't need to have issues with withdrawal. You can actually physically go to that particular place if you have any issue and be like, oh, I invested in this thing and I don't know the outcome of it. This is what is happening, right? Now also realize that these Ponzi scammers, they are not licensed. They do not have any proper regulatory policies. They are just somewhere in thin air, even anonymously just handling this business. We can't see them. They are all behind the screens. So how can you be able to catch somebody who is taking your money? There is a viral Ponzi business that just crashed recently, which is CBEX. CBEX now is everywhere. CBEX here, CBEX this, CBEX that. Now realize that this is one of the biggest Ponzi scheme that has cashed out, I think, according to statistics, over 1.1 trillion naira. I'm not sure if it's in dollars, but it should be in naira. But when converted, you know that's a lot, from dollars to naira. So when converted from dollars to naira, they had about 1 trillion, and these people now, they are being wanted. Now realize that realistically you will not be able to catch these people, because everything is planned. They have already projected how all these things will fall, and they already know that these are the kind of people that would be the kind of audience that it gets, and then also know that you would fall for it, because they know that people are desperate for money. So this is an opportunity for them to get the kind of money that they need. Now, so people who invested in CBEX, it's a pity, but this should be a lesson learned. This should be a lesson learned that not all that glitters is gold. These businesses, let me tell you the truth, even from now, even after the CBEX just happened, tomorrow another Ponzi scheme will still come up and people will still fall for it. This is the essence why we are doing what we're doing now. So be able to educate you and tell you that this particular business is going to come into ruin you. It's not going to help you, because tomorrow another one will come out, and they will disguise the room be more better than CBEX. That's what they do, because when something spoils, they will have to find another channel to make it look good to you. So these are one of the reasons why you should not fall for this. Then another thing that you should try to consider when you want to invest in things like this is, how licensed is it? How regulated is it? When you see it's not properly regulated, look for it, check Look out for such businesses on social media. Check if they have track records, if they have a physical station where they work. If they do not have that, then know that there's a problem with it. That is what you need to look into when you are going to such businesses like that. If it's not like where you have to walk into a working space to speak to the owner, then do not invest in it. All these things are just to ruin you and just to eat your money. And it's so bad that it is leading to what we call financial depression. Financial depression, not just because you don't have money, but because the little money that you have has been taken away from you that you will not be able to get back. And there is a pain that comes with investing in something and being deceived of that thing, especially when you worked hard for that money. Like, I know the pains and how it feels to be involved in that situation. I watched a video last week, particularly still on this CBEX, and I saw married men, I saw old men, I saw old women, I saw young people crying bitterly, in banks, trying to. There's nothing, funny thing, there's nothing the bank can do because you are making the transaction yourself. There's nothing much really they can do about it. So there's no need going to banks to go and cry. Even if they try to track the account and all of that, but it's very difficult to actually get it. It's actually gone. But it's heartbreaking to see people crying for the kind of money they have invested, and not just money they have invested. It may not even be their money. It may even be, some people go as far as borrowing money to invest in this type of business because of how desperate they are. And this should be, like I said, a lesson learned. So when you see it's not licensed, when you have not heard really about this business, you've not you're not aware if it has a physical, station, a physical workplace where you can walk into and speak to one or two people, do not engage in such businesses, right? That's one of the things that come with Ponzi schemes and Ponzi businesses as such as that. No, like I said, Ponzi schemes and businesses is not just a scam. They're just using this opportunity to deprive you of what you are supposed to gain as a human being. There are better legit businesses that you can invest in. That is why it is always important for you to be patient. Patience is one virtue that Nigerians really lack. We lack that patience. But however, I would not discredit that our economy is not favorable. Yes, our economy is not favorable, but that does not mean that you should be ignorant or you should allow yourself to be foolish, to be used by people who by tomorrow you will never be able to see them, will never be able to get your money back because of how things are in the economy. That is why if you do not know what to do, first of all, try to learn a skill. There are a lot of skills. We're in economy, we're in a digital economy where there's a lot of digital horses. And the last episode that we had, we talked about digital horses and how you can engage in it and how you can be able to combine it with your 9 to 5. If you haven't watched that video, you should click on our link and watch the video and get educated on how to get into that space. Now, you could also, let me bring it up again. We have a lot of digital horses where you can learn a lot of skills in terms of digital marketing. You can learn skills as copywriting, social media management, affiliate marketing, drop shipping. A lot of skills are in high demand. In fact, if you check a lot of job openings, you realize that the job openings are always jobs that require high demand skills. They no longer require jobs that you have to sit down in the office from 9 to 5. But there are jobs that require that you sit at home and do your work peacefully. But because we are impatient, we want to make that quick money, we always fall a prey for this. So instead of you to fall a prey for this and keep falling a prey to this, why not use that time judiciously to get a skill that would serve you later on in the future? Now, I know that it's not easy because a lot of people are always confused. What kind of business will I go into? People are going to affiliate marketing, people are going to digital marketing. This is not for me. This is not for, I don't know what to go into. I'm confused. Now, the first thing to do if you're confused is to find yourself. How do you find yourself? By realizing what you can do. When you realize what you can do, then you will know where your niche is. Right? If your niche is in writing, if you love writing, then begin to picture yourself as a copywriter. If you're a good marketer, begin to picture yourself as a digital marketer. Now, when you find yourself, you'll be able to know the skill that accrues to you. But if you're not able to find yourself, you will not know what to do. And it's not always easy to find yourself. It takes patience and the grace of God. Realize that as we are kingdom centered, we will always encourage you to always go to God first, no matter what you are doing. Do not ever go to God last. Because if you're going to God last, that shows that you feel you can do it. And because you know you cannot do it, always go to God first, because He would guide you. The Holy Spirit is there to guide you, to tell you what and what to do and what not to do. So with the Holy Spirit, you can be able to find yourself, and through that you can change a trajectory completely for yourself and find yourself something doing. The reason why we always fall a prey for this Ponzi scheme is because we are idle. As the Bible says, an idle man is the devil's workshop. So when you are idle and the devil comes to feed you with such information, there's nothing much you can do than to eat from it. But when you have something good doing as a social media manager, you wouldn't even have that time to think of the Ponzi scheme that is going viral and the one that is not going viral. As we speak now, there are people now who are seated in their houses, folding their arms and waiting for another Ponzi scheme to come up, let them begin to invest. You are killing yourself financially, you are killing yourself emotionally, and you're killing yourself mentally and as well as spiritually, because all these things come with an evil spirit. I will tell you, yes, it comes with an evil spirit because it is a thief of joy. It would come to take away what you already have. It will come to take away your joy. It will come to take away your peace, because you begin to cry. You begin to think, God has failed me. What did I do to deserve this? What did I do to deserve that? That is the problem that comes with Ponzi businesses, and which is why we encourage you to avoid such businesses. However, we want to always, call out to policies, government agencies, and all of that to help us look into this, particularly the EFCC and all of that policies that are responsible for, making sure that these type of businesses are properly scrutinized. Now, if such businesses are not registered under SEC or CAC, which is the Corporate Affairs Commission, then there is no need for you to engage into such businesses. So at the same vein, we call on the security commissions, corporate affairs commissions, the EFCC, and all of that to try as much as they can. I know they are doing a good job. We thank you so much for the job you're doing. However, this is a problem that needs to be tackled to the deep roots to enable our citizens from falling a prey and making people not to lose their money unnecessarily, because I see there's an unnecessarily losing of money, because when you lose money that you did not plan for, it's unnecessary. Like, that particular act is very unnecessary. So we please plead on these agencies to please look into it, to be able to scrutinize businesses that are coming up. CSE, if they're not properly registered, then they should be brought down, because when they thrive in a society like this, especially, there's something in media that we call hypodermic theory. Now, let me lecture you a little bit. Hypodermic theory is when you are injected with any type of information. Now, because all our audiences, we call them all powerful, which means that we absorb all the information that we get from social media. We don't think anymore with our brains. We think with what the social media gives us. So they just pump into social media system and give you all the information. They give it to you like an injection, which is why it's called hypodermic needle, right? It gives it to you and you take everything in without even questioning and without even thinking, how does this benefit me? How full is this? We just accept it because of how it looks very fancy and how it's very appalling or very catchy to listen to and to derive something from, which is the essence, which is what Ponzi scheme is all about. It's just to drag your attention, right? So if these businesses are not registered, do not engage. Agencies, please, if such businesses are flying, we need to try as much as we can to put these things in order to be able to ensure order, transparency, and trust in the society, because with these, people will also be able to have more trust with our agencies. However, we should always try to do our best. As there's a saying that change begins with you and I. We can't just be sitting down and wait for the government or wait for agencies to do things for us. We should on our own put things in our hands to change the system for us. If we cannot change, even if agencies or the government officials cannot change it for us, we should try as much as we can to change it. This is why we have this topic today going on at Deep Dive with Prisca, a TSAM inspirational TV, where we actually give you vital information that you need to know that would not just help you for now, but help you for the future. For further information, you can always reach out to us at our platform website, eternalcast.org. You can also check out our social media handles showing on your screen, and you can also send us a direct message if you need direct inspiration and you are confused on still what to do and what not to do. Send us an email at tsaminspirational@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being inspired. And thank you so much for always staying there to get inspired. Once again, my name is Prisca Iwendi. We are always here for you, a deep dive with Prisca. Bye for now. Thanks for watching.